The 5 skills required to build any trick. Spinning. After the takeoff, it's time to show your performance in the air and on jibbing items. This time, we will focus on spins as freestyle basics. The first trick you do on any jump should be a straight air, but straight airs are an important process of a different set of basics, so I will not talk about it this time. Okay, on to spins. First, let's start on the flat ground without the board. Just stand straight with feet a shoulder width apart and facing forward. First, just spin between 90 and 180 degrees to find your center balance while spinning. If you are comfortable with this, try to spin a little more, 270 and 360. Next, face the direction you will be riding and spin 180 to your left and right. Balance will be different just by changing where you look. So once again, try to check your balance while spinning 180. If you are okay with spinning 180, let's try spinning 360. If you can't spin 360 properly, divide it into 2 parts, doing 2 separate 180s in the same direction. After you've finished checking your balance, let's learn how to keep spin momentum and also how to stop spin momentum. You can't spin with just your upper body, nor can you spin with just your lower body. Most people, when first learning, spin like this, which is actually the movement required to stop spins. You will spin better if you can create the spin force with your hips, which connect your upper and lower body. So if your hips get the force to move, then your upper and lower body will follow after your hips and you will keep spin momentum. But if your upper body don't follow your hips, they would instead pull on the hips in opposite directions, decreasing spinning force. This move is called counter rotation, and this is the mechanism used to stop spinning. So in order to keep spinning, the upper and lower body should stay together and follow the circular momentum around the hips. For example, when people try to spin 360, many have trouble and the spin stops halfway. This is because they are focusing too much on trying to spin the snowboard and not their entire body. We want to stop spinning by having our lower body spin past our upper body, but this has to happen in the last 90 degrees of rotation. If you start to rotate your lower body ahead earlier than in the last 90 degrees, you won't complete spins properly. So allow your upper body and hips to keep leading the spin until the last 90 degrees. If you would like to add more rotations to your spin, just allow your arms and shoulders and hips to spin slightly ahead of your lower body when you land. This process will serve to prepare you for the extra rotation. For example, when learning how to spin a 360, you can start by doing a 180 and landing with your upper body and hips in a position that will allow you to keep spinning after you land. So when you land the 180, check to see if your upper body is rotating 90 degrees ahead of the board and if your board is still spinning on the ground after you land. Also, if you're practicing a 540, start with a 360 and after you land, check to see if your upper body is rotating 90 degrees ahead of the board and if your board is still spinning on the ground after you land. If so, you can add an extra 180 to your spin with an upper body counter rotation to make 360 a 540. To summarize, in order to keep spinning in the air, arms, shoulders, and hips want to lead the spin ahead of the snowboard. In the last 90 degrees, we want to prepare for the landing, so let your board pass your upper body and then rotate the upper body back in the opposite direction to stop spinning. You can try spinning on flat ground with the board attached. Because the board is not light, just try spinning 180 or 270, but remember how to keep momentum and try not to stop spinning when you land. the body will naturally want to position itself to stop the spin momentum. Practicing this will help add more rotations to your spin tricks later on. Now let's move on to spinning on the slopes. The method of spinning will stay the same, but balance will change due to terrain, angle, and speed. Because it is easier to create a strong base on the edge, start spinning while traversing a slope before spinning downhill. You can't stand straight over the edge of your snowboard when you are traversing. But to spin when riding downhill, off of a park jump for example, you have to lean and use turning to create a base to push off on your edge. When riding downhill, it is not easy to keep the balance needed to generate spins. First, check your balance on your edge when just popping, while traversing in both directions. Don't forget to check uphill before you go to prevent collisions. Now let's spin with some pop. When on the toe edge, try not to look down because it will lean your upper body uphill. You can't point your eyes 2 meters away from you, allowing your upper body to stand up straight, making spins easier. Also, try to keep your ankles bent before popping, keeping your hips inside the board so you can keep your balance before popping. Remember, you are practicing how to keep spinning, not just how to 180. So when you land 180, try to land so your upper body is facing the same direction as when you started, so your upper body spins almost 360. Try to keep pulling your lower body with your hips. Now let's spin the other direction on the heel edge. Again, start with jumping small while traversing to check your balance. Check the same key points mentioned for spinning on the toe edge. Bend your ankles to keep balance before popping. Do not look down and do not look too far up. On your heel edge, you should understand that your weight will be more on the back foot before spinning because your hips lean towards the heel edge before generating spins. And when you add upper body rotation uphill, your hips will then naturally be on top of your back leg. Popping on both feet will be difficult in this position. Try to keep your upper body straight and pull your back elbow up high. You can prevent your upper body from leaning back, allowing you to easily pop off of the back foot. Try spinning 360 if you're confident. If you're not, you can add one more step before trying the 360 by spinning 270 first. With the same force you used to spin 180, try to jump just a little bit higher and suck up your knees. Unless you add counter rotation while spinning, you should be able to spin 270 comfortably. Now let's spin riding downhill like on a park jump. The difference between traversing and downhill is the direction in which you are heading and the terrain angle as well. Also, as I mentioned, it will be easier to create a base of support on the edge of the snowboard while traversing the hill than it would be going downhill. When you generate spins while going down the hill, you will need to incline slightly to the edge. It's easy to lean too much onto the edge, so balancing before popping will be difficult as well. But you can check your balance by jumping up and down on the edge first before trying to spin. If your body is standing balanced over the edge, you can jump properly. But if your upper body is leaning too much over the edge, you will lose your balance when you take off. So check that your upper body is balanced over the edge while jumping straight first. If you can jump nicely on the edge, try spinning 180 without pop, but with your lower body extension. Make 2 turns before spinning. These turns are referred to as setup turns. Setup turns are used to start building a rhythm for your timing and create a base on the edges. If you are going to generate a spin on the toe edge, you ride straight, then make a narrow heel edge turn, followed by a narrow toe edge turn and pop. For spins on the heel edge, ride straight downhill, then toe edge turn, heel edge turn, and pop. Don't forget to generate spins with the upper body straight over the edge. If you make setup turns too wide or too short, then your edge angle will be too steep to create a strong base for takeoff. Also, air trajectory after takeoff will change. So your upper body will be difficult to keep standing straight and your spin axis will lean inside. Because of this, generating spins at the end of a turn is easier than generating spins in the middle of the turn. This is because it's a very similar situation to spinning while traversing the hill. So generating a spin at the end of the turn will be a good transition for those of you who are learning how to generate spin with their upper body standing straight. For intermediate level riders, try to generate spins in the middle of turns where the board is aligned downhill. Let's start by doing a frontside 180. Remember, hips should be aligned on top of the heel edge when you spin frontside, so your upper body won't lean too much to the heel edge. This will also help your hips sit over the back foot naturally, as I mentioned earlier. Try to put your rear elbow up high to stay balanced and generate spin. This helps your shoulders stay flat so your upper body will stand straight up when you pop. Now let's try a backside spin. Once again, rotate your line of sight 2 meters away from you. Your knees, hips, and head are aligned on the toe edge when you spin backside. Try pulling your rear elbow towards your back rather than rotating your line of sight to the back too much. Once you've become familiar with spinning with pop, and if you are more than beginner level in freestyle, try spinning with ollie. This time, you shift weight to the back foot, not to the edge, and focus on the ollie more than the rotation. Bend your ankles before popping off your back leg so that your head and hips will be aligned over the board. Here are more tips for spinning with an ollie. Keep the tail of your board flat. Pull up your front foot to pop off the tail of your board easier. Now let's try spinning 360. Of course, it's not easy adding another 180-degree spin on the groomed slopes. Here, we want to remember the steps we did in the traversing section. Try spinning 180 and keep rotating your upper body and head after landing. Then your board will keep rotating on the snow after landing. So another 180 spin is added as a result. Get used to it first. Then add more pop and suck up your knees until you spin 270. Then add a little more rotational force to finally spin 360. However, you shouldn't focus too much on rotation, but on adding more pop and following through with your upper body. Key points for frontside 360. Keep your upper body straight and bend your ankles. Generate spin with rear elbow high, pulling it through strong and fast. Suck your knees up more and add extra pop. Keep rotating shoulders and hips in the spinning direction. Key points for backside 360. Keep your head, hips, and shoulders aligned over the toe edge. Suck up your knees. Rotate your line of sight 2 meters away from you. Keep rotating your shoulders and hips in the spinning direction. After practicing spinning on a gentle slope, find a line on the snow and try to adjust your timing to it. And also, you can try spinning on side hits after spinning on the gentle slope. The shape and angle of side hits are all different, so balancing before spinning will be different too. So you should practice both on the slope and the side hits together to improve balancing for spinning. Try both stances on regular and goofy. Try backside and frontside as well. Don't say, I'm a beginner at freestyle, so switch stance is too much. If you follow the steps and start easy on the flat ground, you can do it. If you fail again and again, Just go back to easier steps like going from the slope to flat, 360 to 180, or fast speed to slow speed.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and feel free to leave your comments below. Learn the world's best scientific coaching method based on coaching national level athletes. Watch all our tutorials by subscribing to the online training program from our website. Snowboard Dojo Wiz, your snowboard coach from Canada.